Welcome to another edition of Sci-Fi Journal presented by the Rhode Island Science Fiction Club. This show is for August 2018. I'm Marc Morisseau. Also hosting the show today are
Maddy and Marc Morisseau,
Ian Kingston,
James Hinsey,
and we are at ConnectiCon 16 in Hartford Convention Center. Calvin Watts is not here. He's taking a well-deserved day off, but we will see him later on in the show because he went to Pintastic. He's a big, huge pinball fan, so we're going to see lots of cool stuff from him. All right, we have been coming here for a long time. These guys are the newbies, so it'll be interesting to see what they can pick up. This convention is best known for its cosplay. A lot of fans that come to this convention love to get dressed up. We're going to show you a lot of that stuff. We'll be doing some interviews. Madison, is there anything you're looking forward to in this convention?
I've heard that there's a really good board game section, which I'm very excited to see. And also there's a kids section, which teaching, that's exciting. I'm excited to see what they have.
Okay.
let's see if I can find any good magic cards here for a steal.
That'll be good.
I'm looking forward to some of the voice artists that have worked on Star Wars Rebels, Stephen Blum and Vanessa, I can't remember her last name, but I'll get it. And maybe I'll shop and buy something.
Yeah, and my wife said, if you find something that you like, go ahead and buy it. That's kind of dangerous. But we'll see what happens. Usually I find like a little tchotchke or something like that. All right, that'll be good. And we also have the RKO Army from Rhode Island is going to be doing some performances upstairs, and we'll see if we can catch one of their performances as well. All right, so ConnectiCon 16, 2018. Let's go find out what's going on. Lots of cool stuff. Ready, set, go!
Hi, and this is Ian Kingston at ConnectiCon, but going to be doing a little bit of the movie previews that I normally do. All right, so welcome to August 2018 Popcorn Previews. This month we've got actually a couple movies for you. We're going to be looking at The Predator, coming out on September 14th of this year. When a young boy accidentally triggers the universe's most lethal hunters return to Earth, only a ragtag crew of ex-soldiers and a disgruntled science teacher can prevent the end of the human race.
Do you know what my job description is? I'm in acquisitions. I look up and I catch what falls out of the sky.
What's on the ship?
Tell me about the mission. Did you see anything unusual?
It's above our pay grade. I get a cookie now.
Look, I get it. Something went down in Mexico. Nobody wants any witnesses. We need to know if you and your men pose a threat.
We're rangers.
Hey, Baxley, if your mom's vagina were a video game, it'd be rated E for everyone.
Isn't posing a threat kind of the point?
Predators just don't sit around making hats out of rib cages. They conquered space. But that's not what's on the horizon.
Should I be worried?
Riley. I think you know what is on the ship. The ultimate predators.
Light him up!
We may die.
We're still here. So come and get us.
I think that clip looks pretty awesome.
That's looking forward to seeing it. Written by he was in the original Predator movie, Black, right? So I mean, it's going to be fun.
And it stars Olivia Munn, Ivan Strakowski, and Boyd Holbrook. Pretty good cast there, especially for some eye candy. And just looking forward to a really awesome set there. Now, we've got a little bit of a treat for a family fantasy horror movie as our next clip here. So what we're looking at here is The House with a Clock in Its Walls, starring Jack Black, Kate Blanchett, and Lorenza Izzo. Talk about eye candy. Here's another one right after it, but this one a little bit more family-oriented.
Yeah, and it's kind of bizarre but interesting. I mean, clocks in the walls.
Yeah, so essentially, a young orphan named Lewis, started by another young kid. A young orphan named Lewis Barnevelt aids his magical uncle in locating a clock with the power to bring about the end of the world. Comes out September 21st. Let's take a look at that.
Do you hear the ticking? The ticking.
Hello. You're Lewis, I presume.
You'll see. Things are quite different here.
The house is a very old place.
There's a clock in the walls.
Do you hear the ticking? Ticking, ticking, ticking.
We don't know what it does, except something horrible.
So, you've told Lewis everything?
Well, not everything. Have a look around. You're perfectly safe.
That's safe?
As long as it's fed.
I love pretty much every Jack Black movie. They're always really entertaining. My line of humor, not everybody's, but I'm really excited for it. How about you, James?
I am too. It was a very interesting premise, and it's got some star power in there too, so it'll be fun.
Awesome. All right. Well, gonna pass it over to a segment we like to call Anime Daisuki. Go, James, go.
So Anime Daisuki this month here at ConnectiCon, a couple things here. Funimation has announced they're having these simuldubs happening in August. There's like at least 12 shows that are premiering with simuldubs on Funimation.com and streaming while they're streaming also in Japan. So it's like new shows, check them out. Plus they're dubbed, so I mean they've put the effort into getting these shows, all the voice actors and stuff in to work on these shows.
So what is a simuldub?
So it's simulcast, same as Japan, but with an English voice cast doing the voices in the show. They did something similar like on Cartoon Network Toonami with Space Dandy. Space Dandy aired the same time as it did like in Japan, or the same day, but they had already dubbed an English track for the American audience.
So essentially the release date is the same in both countries, just so that you can hear it in your native language in both countries.
Right, yeah. So in Japan they have it in Japanese, here we have it in English. I wish they would do the SAP, the secondary audio program, like you do mostly with Spanish language channels. But if they could do the Japanese track in there too, I would love that too.
That'd be really cool. Yeah.
Because then you turn on the closed caption and you can see it.
Along. Yeah, it'd be great.
But they're doing simuldubs and also Attack on Titan season 3, which they just had a premiere in July here in the theaters. But the season starts in August, so there'll be simuldub casting for Attack on Titan season 3.
Oh, that's wicked exciting because Maddy and I actually watched season 1, season 2, but we had to wait for it to actually come out on English. So now that we're going to be able to kind of catch it before all the spoilers come out, it's going to be awesome.
Right. And the voice work on that too is awesome for English. I was very impressed by the cast and the emotion and drama they got.
It's incredible. It's an awesome series. If you like shows along the lines of Game of Thrones with the suspense and the twists, not expecting who's going to live from week to week, check out Attack on Titan. A lot of the same feel, but with all that wonderful anime, extreme action and violence that you can get.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when episode 5, really caught me in the first season, and it's like, oh my God, they did that, and I'm, definitely hooked on it from there on.
Awesome.
All right, so that's it for Anime Daisuki for this month here at ConnectiCon. Let's go check out some more stuff.
Awesome. Take care. Enjoy the con.
So being here at ConnectiCon, we figured instead of doing our typical me sitting at a table and telling you about a board game, I figured it'd be nice to interview some local board game creators and see what they have to say. So would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. I'm Jim Fitzpatrick from Attleboro, Massachusetts, and my game is called Mission to Planet Hexx.
Excellent. So Mission to Planet Hexx, this looks exciting. Would you like to explain pretty briefly exactly how you play?
Sure. I describe it, the tagline says it's a retro-style space adventure board and card game in one, which it definitely is. The essence is you have something called the mission file, Hexx, and what you have to do is you have to upload different kinds of hexes around it. There are 5 different kinds in the game. 2 of them, space and planets, let you build a map of space. So one of the taglines for the game is also, it's never the same game twice. The game board always changes. There are elements of resource management, map building, like I said, there's a lot of dice rolling. What you're trying to do is slow your opponents down while you speed up your game, looking for combos in the game. For instance, you want a space that lets you double your roll when you get a benefit from the space next to it that gives you something for moving through it a number of times. So, like I said, once people get into it, they start to construct and make a strategy, and that's where the fun comes out. It's a literal exploration of the universe you create. There's a lot of take that. We have cards called surprises that you play in your opponent's turn that slow them down, that do something bad, And the more players, it's a 2 to 4 player game, the more players you have, the more there's a social interaction element. You get king making, you get alliances formed, so there's a little bit of a social aspect. It's aimed towards an intermediate audience. I think it can get brand new gamers or non-gamers into gaming, but it's not so complex that you would lose them, you know what I mean? A lot of people say, oh, my boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other would play this, where they wouldn't play something more difficult. But what else can I say about it? We've been having a great time here. People of all ages are playing it. I found recently at KidsCon in New Hampshire that gamers younger than 10 years old handle it pretty well, if they're gamers. I had 7 and 8 year olds playing. So, like I said, I'm happy to keep showing it to people. It's about 1.5 years in development. It's somewhere in between, play testing and ready to go.
Excellent. Well, as an educator, it's exciting to hear that people of all ages can really take part in this game, and it looks like a lot of fun. So I'm excited to hear about it. Well, thank you so much for interviewing with us. It was so nice to meet you, and let's see what else we have.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Hello and welcome to Pintastic 2018. We are in Sturbridge, Massachusetts. I am Calvin Watts. It's Pintastic's 4th year. Saturday morning we're in the vendor room and I am having a blast. So Pintastic's a fun event. It's primarily a pinball expo, but it's also a game room expo, so you can find a whole bunch of things to do here. stuff for kids. It's a nice family event. It's really, really cool, and I am going to have a blast. So let's start off. If you're looking behind me, this is something you don't get to see all that often because we're starting out early. This is the tournament area. So most pinball conventions have some sort of a tournament going on. So they have like ranked bodies or governing bodies that handle like official like pinball tournaments. There's IFPA, there's PAPA, and so they have, you can enter and you can have some fun. They have like all ages tournaments, from like, kids, teenagers up to an adult, and they have different skill sets too. So if you're like a novice, you can go into like the novice group. If you're an expert, you can go into the expert group. And the really cool thing about tournaments is that they always have a whole bunch of different machines to play. You got everything back here from old electrical mechanical machines from like the 50s and 60s up until like the latest Stern DMDs and ultra really cool stuff. So you really got to have an idea of how to play it. You can't just get locked into any one type of style. So we have a lot of stuff that we're going to do, a lot of people to talk to, and a lot of fun to be had. So let's get to it. Okay, so we are with Jim from the Sanctum. The Sanctum is a pinball place that you can go to in Meriden, Connecticut. It's a really, really cool place, which I haven't been to yet, being honest, but I'm going to get there someday. Anyways, Jim is the guy that's running the tournament here over at Pintastic. So, Jim, how's Pintastic going for you so far?
No, it's great. You can't not have fun here.
All right, why don't you talk a little bit about what a pinball tournament is, how it kind of works, how it gets set up, and why is a pinball tournament cool?
Well, there's many ways to run pinball tournaments. This is one way to do it at a show, where you don't want people stuck here the entire time. They can come put an entry in and then enjoy the rest of the show and, wander around and come back when they want until we have finals today. So yesterday we started qualifying. So you pick 5 games out of the 12 we have back here, and, you try to put up your best score. Your scores on a game are compared against everybody else's scores on those games, and it ranks you and gives you points based on that. And so after 8 hours of qualifying today and 4 more hours of qualifying this morning, we'll take the top 24 out of 100-something players we've had so far this weekend, and we'll have a head-to-head final starting at 3 o'clock today.
So that's really cool, and you don't have to be an expert player to enter, correct?
No, anybody can play. We have kids playing. Everybody plays.
So talk a little bit about the Sanctum. How did that come about, and what is behind all of that?
At this point, I think it was about 5 years ago we started. And we used to run leagues and stuff out of our garages and wherever we could, fit enough people and enough games in our houses and whatnot. And eventually there was a few of us that just said, we need a place to do this permanently and not be moving around all the time. So we found some commercial space somewhere that we could rent and, put all of our games there. And at this point we're up to 47 games in a warehouse. And, every week everybody comes out and we have fun playing leagues and tournaments and everything else.
It really is kind of funny that only a few years ago pinball is all but dead outside of, collectors like yourself and people that had the passion. And now it's really made a resurgence. You have more and more pinball companies coming out, making new machines. You have conventions like Pintastic. What does that mean for the hobby?
Hopefully it just keeps growing. I mean, obviously there's a lot of older generations in this hobby still, keeping it alive. And hopefully they can pass the torch on to younger generations, get the kids involved and have them enjoy it and keep going with it, following in our footsteps.
So the Sanctum, by the way, is from the Shadow, which is one of the best pinball machines like out there. So I assume the Shadow is one of your favorites?
It is. It's a game that will never leave.
Okay, so if people want to find more information about the Sanctum, where do they go?
To thesanctum.org.
Okay, Jim, I know you're busy, so thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you.
Okay, so yes, I'm still here at Pintastic 2018. However, as I've told you guys repeatedly over the years, you never know what's going to happen when you go to one of these things. You're going to end up, meeting somebody you don't expect to run into. And sometimes it can be a surprise. And today is a surprise. So with me, I have Mitch Hallock, which happens to be the guy behind CT Gameathon, which we went to a couple of months ago, and TerrifiCon, which is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, comic book show in Connecticut. Mitch, how you doing?
I'm all right, Calvin. How you doing, man?
All right. So normally I would ask, how's Pintastic? But since you literally got here,
I just did. Yeah.
I can't really talk about that. So we'll briefly, before we get into TerrifiCon, So what took you up here? Are you like a pinball guy, or are you a gaming guy, or?
Oh yeah, I've been a pinball guy since I was a kid. I remember my mom just dropping me off back when you could do that at the arcade with a roll of quarters, and I'll see you later, don't talk to strangers, and take off. And we would just sit there and we would play. I remember it was Meteor, the Captain Fantastic one. It was like Elton John on the pinball. Fonzie was on another one too, and it was just great. And then video games came in, Space Invaders, and then it was Pac-Man and all that stuff. But I was always the pinball guy because you could take your time with pinball. You know what I mean? You could sit there, maybe I'll pull the plunger, maybe I'll do the flipper, maybe I won't, and you can enjoy your 25 cents worth of entertainment. A video game, you didn't know what you were doing, you were dead in seconds, but that's why I love pinball. But what brought me here is at GamerCon down at Mohegan Sun, I happen to have Gabe, who runs this, as one of my exhibitors, and he brought a pile of pinball machines down there only because I knew somebody who mentioned that you should call the guy that runs Pintastic. I go, really? We can get pinball machines? And I called him up, and Gabe came down with I think 6 machines, and it was fantastic. Every time everyone would leave the show at GamerCon, I'd run over, and I would just sit there and play the pinball machines all night. So no quarters. So.
No, it was a lot of fun. I did get to talk to him down there, and he was pleasantly surprised at just how many people were coming in.
Yeah.
And talking about GamerCon for a minute, CT GamerCon, it was a lot of fun. I really didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
It was to be frank, it was a lot busier and more crowded than I thought it was going to be, which is great.
Yeah.
I had a fabulous time. The tournament room was really awesome.
Yeah.
They have a lot of stuff going on. It was a little something for everybody.
Yeah, the whole idea that sprung out of CT GamerCon is because when we do TerrifiCon, we always have a room upstairs, the game room. We have video games and retro stuff, Mario Brothers and Injustice and things. And I would notice every year the lines were getting bigger and bigger to go to the gaming room because it's all free. So I would talk to Jamie York, who's from Game Underground, and I said, you know what? Why don't we try to put together a video game, pinball, tabletop, anything to do with fun and games. That's what it was going to be called originally. It was called Fun and Games Con. And we just tried it, and we had 8,000 people show up. And I'm like, oh my. And Mohegan Sun loved it too, because now it's another event besides TerrifiCon. And we did it early in March and April when, you live around here too. Yeah. It's snowing out, it's cold out, it's just, you just want to go out and do something. You're tired of shoveling. And we did it, and like I said, the response was overwhelming. In fact, we had to expand it this year. We added more games, we added more stuff, we added pinball, and people just love arcade games. They love pinball machines, they love video games and stuff like that. And like you said, it's super busy. I mean, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And just like Pintastic, like you told me, every year it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. People love the old, not old, but retro or the tactile stuff. I mean, your phone is great.
Yeah.
But there's something about actually physically being in front of a big machine that's lit up and making noise and stuff like that, other than, oh, look, I'm on my iPhone,
All right, so let's talk about TerrifiCon, which is coming up in August.
Yes, sir.
So you were just telling me that you spun out a Comic-Con, CONN. So you used to be one of the people behind that, but you decided to go off when that was sold off to a different company, and you decided to do your own thing. So how did TerrifiCon come about? What made you decide that, hey, I could actually do this? And how to go off from there?
Well, as you mentioned, I produced and organized other comic book conventions in Connecticut. I did one at a Marriott hotel, which is a lot like Pintastic. It was a one-day show at a hotel, and we had 3,000 people. And then we tried it again, see if it was just dumb luck. 5,000 people showed up. So then I said, let's go to a bigger venue. So we went to Bridgeport to a hockey arena, which is where they have rock concerts as well. And we produced that show in 2014. Okay. And there was like 13,000 people. So after that, it was just so big. I mean, that place was packed the first year. So I called Mohegan Sun, and I said, listen, I got this show. They go, we don't do comic book conventions and all that, but we worked it out. And next thing you know, they tried it. And that has been a home run. That started in August 2015. And I've been producing shows there now for 4 years now? 15, 16, 17, 18. Then 2 Gamer Cons. So this will be our 6th show in 4 years. So it's been a lot. And the response has been, Mohegan Sun is a terrific partner. Bend over backwards for you. And people love coming there because it's a family-friendly place. People might think, oh, it's a casino. It's not, but it is really. They have Kids Quest and Cyber Quest, which are like arcades and things for kids. There's a 50-something restaurants and places to eat at. They've got live music. They've got their own indoor arena. And now they've made this brand new expo center where you've come to GamerCon, and that was in the beautiful convention center, which was like 40,000 square feet. Now we're in a new facility that's 4 times bigger, 160,000 square feet this August. And you know what? I was just telling you, we filled that thing too, So it's just amazing how big these things keep going. It's like that rock in Indiana Jones when he's running, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's just chasing after us,
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to going in a couple of weeks. Yeah. So what is special about TerrifiCon? Is it strictly like a comic book con? Okay.
Well, main focus is, to be fair, it's mostly comic books. You'll see the biggest gathering of comic book artists and writers from Marvel and DC in New England will be at TerrifiCon. But we do remember that people want to see some celebrities. So we have Henry Winkler, Fonzie himself. I just posted that this week. We've got Lou Ferrigno, the Hulk. He'll be at the show. And then we've got people from modern day stuff like John Bernthal, who was the Punisher, and he was also Shane on The Walking Dead, and he's been in a zillion movies. We got Pom Clementif, who you might not know that name, but if you saw Guardians of the Galaxy, she's Mantis, and she was in Avengers Infinity War. She'll be at the show too. We've got a guy that I went to school with in Connecticut, Michael Jai White, who you might know as Spawn, and he was also Black Dynamite, and he was also in The Dark Knight. Yeah, so he'll be at the show. He's a great guy. He's also a Connecticut guy. Who else do we have? We got voiceover actors from cartoons that you grew up with. We got Larry Kenney from the Thundercats. We got Charlie Slater, who's in a show called Kick Butowski, which came out a couple years ago. And it just goes on and on. I keep thinking, what kills me? There's so many people there, I don't remember everybody's name. But it's not just comic books. It's video games and stuff. We have a whole video game room. We have a whole tabletop room. We have a whole model train room this year because we got these guys that called and they want to bring it. They're bringing down this massive setup, and they actually put superheroes into the display. So it's got the Hulk wrecking a bridge and all that, and they just came down because they want to be part of it. So that'll be something to look forward to. We've got cars. We've got your Herbie the Love Bug. We've got your car from Supernatural. We got the car from the Flintstones movie. We got a bunch of those things to see. I mean, we got a 14-foot Thanos statue that we've built that we're unveiling there. And we're going for a Guinness World Book record that you could be part of, actually, that I can tell you here now. It was Superman's 80th birthday this year. So we were sitting there going, well, let's send a birthday card to Superman. Let's make the biggest card we can. So I called Guinness World Book Records up. I found out how many people have signed a birthday card, and the record is like 16,700. I go, we could beat that. So this year, if you come to TerrifiCon, you could be part of a Guinness World Book record attempt and be part of the action. All you got to do is sign your name and say, Happy Birthday, Superman. So that's cool too, man. And costume contests, and Sam Jones, Flash Gordon, after parties, auctions, raffles.
So literally something for everybody. Well, that's I'll definitely do my part. I want to be part of a Guinness World Record thing. That'd be really cool. Yeah. So no, I'm really excited. So August 17th through 19th?
17th to the 19th at Mohegan Sun Expo Center.
So, and it's terrificon.com?
Terrificon.com. This thing, TerrifiCon. That's it. It sells itself. There's a lot of Comic Cons out there, but there's only one terrific one. It's in the name.
All right, Mitch. Thank you very much for taking a couple of minutes to speak with us. This has been awesome, and I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks at TerrifiCon.
Thank you very much. This time I will find time to actually say hello and not run around. So, see you.
Thank you. So here I am walking around Pintastic, and I see advertisings for Neon, which is basically the con that's kind of replaced TempleCon over at the Warwick Crowne Plaza. And I ran into Grant Garvin. Now, he is the guy that was behind the console room over at TempleCon. And so they came up with this concept a year ago, and it's a retrofuturism convention, which is going to be really interesting to see what exactly that means. But, Grant, how you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing fine. So let's talk really briefly about Pintastic. How's it going for you? You enjoying yourself?
Oh, it's wonderful. This is kind of my element. So, being an arcade collector of 11 years, this is an awesome place to be. It's great to see people with the passion that I have for this hobby too. So
All right, so Neon's coming up towards the end of August. A lot of people are probably being like, what the heck is Neon? So you're billing it as a Retrofest. So let's talk a little bit about exactly what that entails.
So on the surface, first and foremost, Neon is a music festival. It's a huge music festival. We're bringing in synthwave bands from all over the world for a 3-day event, the likes of which has never been done for this genre of music. So on its surface, that's what it is, but Neon's a lot more than that because, with our history with TempleCon and everything else, we wanted to go a little bit deeper and make it more immersive. Immersion is a big part of Neon. So when we say it's a retrofuturism festival, it's like everything the late 20th century, everyone thought that was what that would be. This is what we're going for. So 80s nostalgia, arcade gaming. We're having a massive film festival. We're doing there's a massive console room. We have a ton of amazing guests and speakers and panelists, vendors. Yeah, it's a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to going. It sounds like right up my alley because I'm definitely an 80s guy. Yes, I am that old. So let's talk a little bit about the console or an arcade gaming room. What do you have? Anything special that you're going to have in there?
There's definitely going to be some special stuff. We're looking at about 100 games, and it's mostly my collection, but I also do some work with Free Play Bar and Arcade, who's a major sponsor that we partner with. So they're going to be providing a lot of really cool and rare cabinets and pins too. Outside of that, I'm bringing some really, really rare games. Like we're going to have a triple screen Darius there. We have a lot of really rare Cinematronics gyms. There's going to be some stuff there's only a couple of in the United States. And then a couple surprises too that we're cooking up. So yeah, I think if you're into arcade gaming and you're kind of used to seeing the same titles over and over from yesteryear, Neon's going to be more about curating some of the rare stuff you're going to be able to walk up to and play.
Which is always awesome. And so August 24th to the 26th?
August 24th through the 26th, yep, and it runs the whole weekend, doesn't shut down. The film festival being run by Dreadfile. It's going to be a lot of B and genre movies from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. That runs 24 hours a day, as does the arcade. So this is something that once we start it up on Friday, it doesn't stop.
Which is awesome, and I know from being here late nights when they have the VIP room open at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you can have a lot of fun. The late night people are always a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
So I am really looking forward to staying and going to Neon, checking it out. So my guys and I will be there. So Grant, thank you very much for taking the time.
No problem. Good seeing you guys as always.
All right, this month for Toob News, I decided instead of giving you some news about what's going on in television, I'm just going to ask people about their favorite television shows. So, SpongeBob, what's your favorite TV show?
I like to watch my favorite TV show. That would be, well, I would have to say it would be Attack on Titan.
Oh!
That's an anime, and it is a TV show.
That's right. And why do you like Attack on Titan?
Because they have so much fun flying.
That sounds good. All right. Thanks, SpongeBob.
You're welcome.
Let's see. Dad, what's your favorite TV show?
Stargate.
Stargate. Okay. What's your favorite TV show?
Well, my favorite TV show is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
All right. What's your favorite TV show? Look at the camera.
It's Zeta.
All right. What's your favorite TV show?
My favorite TV show is The Avengers.
The Avengers. You guys all had awesome choices. There's my card. Thank you very much. All right. That's what they like on TV. Where you going? Over there. All right. Let's find out who else has a favorite TV show. Wow. It's nice to meet you. Hi. What's your name?
My name's Arshay.
Arshay.
My name's Courtney. Anna.
Okay. I'm going to ask you this question because we do our TV segment. What is your favorite television show?
Voltron, Legendary Defender.
Okay, awesome.
Voltron. Yeah, Voltron.
Voltron, we got 3 Voltrons. All right, thank you, ladies. I'm going to ask you a question. Think about it for a second. What is your favorite television show?
Ooh, Dexter.
All right, I love it. What's your favorite television show?
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who. Another Doctor Who fan. Any favorite Doctor?
Oh my God, they're so great. The 5th and 10 and 11.
10 and 11. Okay. Did you like 12?
He's okay, but I like Clara better.
Are you looking forward to a female Doctor?
Yes.
Are you kidding? I am so stoked about that. I'm going to collect everything. It's awesome. All right. Thank you very much for talking to me here.
What's my favorite TV show? Has to be Rick and Morty. I love Rick and Morty.
All right. Are you looking forward to like 70 more episodes?
Yeah, I'm looking forward for 70 more episodes. Like, I've been dying for this.
Lots of people like TV shows. Come here.
So as an educator, it's always exciting to see what conventions can offer for kids of those who like to come around and dabble in what the convention offers. And one exciting thing that ConnectiCon has to offer is a kids room. So I have a lovely representative here from the kids room, and she's going to explain a little bit about what they offer.
Hi, my name is April Brunelle from April's Balloon Creations, and I'm a volunteer here at the Rhode Island Convention. And this is the kids area. There's about 7 tables and 1 rotating table of different projects for them to do. They can learn how to sew their own costumes, they can make their own costumes, they can paint, they can draw, they can play board games. We have a dedicated board game table. And a rotating project, like I said. So today it's make their own dragons out of clay. So that changes all the time. We had a kids DJ dance party last night. Today we have the kids costume contest, and tomorrow we have special Snow Sisters performing and singing a sing-along with all the kids.
That's wonderful. So it's really good to see that the kids have a lot of fun things to do, and I see a lot of them running around. They seem to be enjoying themselves. Thank you so much for interviewing with us. We appreciate it, and let's go to our next interview.
I am with Keir from the Hogwarts Running Club. Hi, Keir.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Tell me a little bit about your organization and your club.
Well, Hogwarts Running Club is one of 3 running clubs that we operate through Random Tuesday Incorporated. We're a charity that raises money for other charities, and we do that by hosting virtual running events. A virtual run is essentially one that you do wherever you are. So instead of going downtown on a Saturday morning and running around with a bunch of strangers to do a 5K, you register for an event and then you complete it wherever and however you can. So some people walk them on a treadmill or jog around their neighborhood or hike a trail or run a local track. So the pace and the race location are entirely up to each registrant. But the proceeds from every event that we hold go to a different charity partner. So been doing it since the top of 2015 as we incorporated. And so in 3 years we've raised $2.1 million for about 50 charities around the world, just doing it 1 race, 1 mile at a time.
And how do you prove that somebody actually did the miles?
It's actually on the honor system. So people don't have to prove to us, send us screenshots of their phone or their Fitbits. They know in their hearts when they've done their distance. The medal will come to them a week after registration closes, whether they've done the distance yet or not. But it will allow them to be able to complete it at their pace, and the charity partner will get their donations, but they know in their heart when they've earned that medal to hang up on the wall. And each medal for each event is themed so that it ties into either the Hogwarts Running Club for Harry Potter fans, the Whovian Running Club for Doctor Who fans, or the Chilton Running Club for Gilmore Girls fans.
And now, is there a website or a Facebook page or anything that if people are interested, they can check it out?
All the above, actually. So HogwartsRunningClub.org, Whovianrunning.org, or ChiltonRunning.org. The Facebook searches, if you just begin with Hogwarts and type the letter R, it'll automatically complete the rest of it for you. We're 65,000 members. It's kind of easy to find. And we're also on Twitter and Instagram and all the social media feeds.
All right, Keir, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Let's see what else is going on at ConnectiCon.
Hey, it's James here at ConnectiCon. I'm here with Rachel and Kwame of Beyond Reality Studios. And they make a fine assortment of accessories for your costumes and stuff. Tell me about what it is you do.
We actually design and print custom LARP and cosplay gear. Mm-hmm. Everything here is 3D modeled in ZBrush, and we go ahead and print it via 3D printer and finish and paint.
Wow, they look awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. And how do you get your ideas for these?
Go ahead.
Actually, yeah, that's mostly me. Late nights with ZBrush and coffee.
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff we go ahead and I sit down at my machine. I model everything out on the computer. Bring it down to the basement to our printers and go ahead and print it. I mean, inspiration-wise, I'm inspired by everything around us here. Just comic culture and sci-fi culture. Yeah. I obviously grew up on video games and geekdom. So this is where we're at right now, using the latest technologies to build the best stuff.
And Rachel, so how are you involved with the?
Well, I'm just more learning right now, but I'm also doing a lot of the strapping and the other kind of additions that we're doing onto the costumes and everything. So some of the fitting stuff, and likewise grew up with a lot of inspiration from geek and sci-fi fantasy culture. So yeah, a lot of that stuff goes into our art, and we hope that it shows.
And what kind of materials are you using?
We have a couple different materials. In fact, I can show you what we have right here. This is a ABS plastic, which is pretty hard plastic, but it's lightweight. But we've recently started using a flexible TPU filament, which is con-safe and LARP-safe. So it actually flexes really good. It's incredibly strong and very lightweight.
Wow. That's great. I mean, it's awesome. I work at a community college. We have like 40-some new printers, 3D printers.
Excellent.
They've got a whole program now because they did teach other types of manufacturing, computer-controlled, machining equipment, stuff like that. But now they got 3D printing, and a lot of people are getting into this.
Well, see, the whole industry kind of turned a loop. Basically, we started off with making, basic things and then figuring out how to make a whole lot of them very quickly. Problem is we've become so good with making a lot of things very quickly that we stopped to actually dial back and say, hey, maybe somebody just wants one thing. Maybe somebody wants something small and custom.
Yeah, one of a kinds. That's the way to go.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go see what else is happening here at ConnectiCon.
Thank you.
All right, ConnectiCon 16. I'm with Mr. Dan Wells, an awesome writer. Dan, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Now, you do a lot of different genres. You do a lot of some horror stuff, and what is it that you're selling this weekend at ConnectiCon?
Well, like you say, I've got a little bit of everything. I have horror, I have post-apocalyptic, I've got a corporate satire, and then one of the big ones I'm pushing right now is this, which is cyberpunk.
Oh, okay. All right. What got you interested in cyberpunk in the first place? Because I've always been a big Shadowrun fan.
Yeah, well, I grew up in the 80s in the Cold War and read all of the Neuromancer and William Gibson and all that stuff, and I've always loved it. And, eventually ended up as a horror author and kind of slowly started doing science fiction and eventually hit the point where I thought, I really want to get back and write that stuff I read as a kid. This will be great. Plus, now that the world's finally caught up to cyberpunk, right, yeah. And all the things that used to be bizarre science fiction are now totally normal. I've got a supercomputer in my pocket where I get messages from a robot on Mars. So we already live in cyberpunk. Why not write it?
Right. Okay. And how many books in the cyberpunk series?
This series has 3 books: Blue Screen, Ones and Zeros, and Active Memory.
And can you tell us a little bit about the plot? Is it one character that you follow through all 3 books, or?
Yeah, so it's called the Mirador series, and it's about a little neighborhood in Los Angeles in the year 2050. Drones do everything for us. We all have computers implanted in our heads. And the main characters are actually a group of teenagers who are semi-pro gamers and hackers. And so it's kind of, episodic. Here's a cool story about them in a digital drug. Here's a cool story about them going to a gaming tournament that then turns into a data heist when they decide to hack the corporate sponsor and things like that.
Good. Now you have other series as well that you're promoting this weekend too.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is probably my most popular book overall. It's called I'm Not a Serial Killer. This is the one that, this is my very first published book, my horror novel. This was made into a movie a couple years ago starring Christopher Lloyd. Same name. It's on Netflix and Amazon Prime and everything. So it's a really good one.
Yeah, that's a good title considering I'm standing right next to you. So
it does put people at ease.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. All right. So if people want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Well, there's a Dan Wells actor who's very web savvy and got to everything online first. So I am the Dan Wells.
You haven't litigated or anything.
No, not at all. He's a great guy, actually. Okay. In fact, I've got a book about cloning that I dedicated to him.
Oh, very nice.
Since there's several Dan Wellses in the world. But anyway, I'm the Dan Wells. That's Twitter, that's Facebook, that's my website, thedanwells.com. And so it's easy to find me.
Very good. All right. The Dan Wells, the one and only. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you, Mark.
All right, let's see what else is going on at ConnectiCon.
For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Steve Blum, so now you can go back to sleep.
I'm a voice actor from LA. I've been doing this for about 30 years. Started in anime, and will probably die doing anime at some point. It's kind of my first love. And eventually moved into video games and original animated stuff and movies and commercials and whatever. But I am here to answer your questions. I'm just going to open this up to you guys because I want to hear what's on your minds, and hopefully I have some reasonable answers, and if I don't, I'll make it up. So just shoot your hand up in the air, and yeah, you in the hat right back there.
What was the first anime you did?
Very first anime I did was called The Guyver, and I came in to audition for the thing for Creature Voice, and the only reason they brought me in is because I had the deepest voice in a mailroom where I was working. And they needed somebody to do that, and I was also strong enough to help them lift equipment up into the treehouse studio where they were working. It was literally in a treehouse. And we had to carry the equipment up every day. It was all rental stuff, nobody knew what we were doing. And but literally the only reason I went there was because they offered me free food. And I was a starving musician, and I thought, okay, yeah, I'll do this, and all my friends are going to be there. That sounds great. And what do I have to do? And they said, well, you have to match some lip flaps of these characters on screen, and we just need you to do a creature voice. And I said, okay, I can do that. They're not going to hire me, but I'll get free pizza. So helped them schlep all the stuff up into the tree, and went up to the microphone. They showed me the picture of this character called Zoonoid. And in the scene they showed me, I think he was ripping the arm off of another one and beating him with it. And he said, what would that sound like? And I just looked at the screen and went, I don't know, maybe like, okay, yeah, you're hired. And I went, what? I gotta work now? I don't know how to do this. And they said, it's good enough. So they hired me, and they still fed me. But I had the benefit of watching about 20 of the best voice actors in LA do their thing, and I just copied everything they did. And it worked out. I fooled them for the day, and then they hired me again. Stupid ass. And I ended up working for that company for probably about 15 years. We did a whole bunch of shows, and they eventually gave me speaking roles, and I don't know why they kept hiring me, but it worked out. And I just did it for fun for all these years until eventually I quit all the other jobs that I was working to support it and did it full time. And now it worked out. I never intended to go into this as a business, so I don't necessarily recommend it as a business. If you want to get rich or famous, try something else. But I got lucky. I got really lucky, and I work really, really hard at it too. Okay, who's got another one here? How about you in the back of the green shirt?
Who's your favorite character that you voiced?
My favorite character that I voiced?
Yeah.
Whatever I'm doing Monday, because I'm still employed. I love them all, dude. I've been doing this for so long, and I love all the characters for different reasons. Even the smallest ones that have a 30-second lifespan, I have to put just as much energy and love into that character as I do for Spike. You know, they all matter. And the character was, my philosophy is that the character was written into the story for a reason. Even if they are just cannon fodder. And so I want to give that as much life and character as I possibly can. I mean, some stand out. Spike from Cowboy Bebop was certainly a big one in my life. That was probably the most transformative character for me in a bunch of different ways. I learned how to act in the course of working on 26 episodes in a movie, or however many there were. I'll probably be, is that right? Okay. Good, I have my lifeline right here. Thanks, guys. But I honestly learned how to act while I was working on that show. Even though I had been working before that, I was just faking it up until that point. I really learned the craft of acting on that show. And we're still talking about that show 20 years later. So it's a pretty definitive show for the genre. And the greatest part of it all is that the lady who played Julia and directed the show is now my fiance in real life. I got so lucky. I'm so far above my pay grade. Mary Elizabeth McGlynn directed the show. It was her first directing gig, and it was my first leading role on that show. So that one, probably more than any other show in my career, has been the most definitive one. But in terms of favorites, it's hard to choose. Every day, that's a different answer. Okay, how about you right here, sir?
I can't help but see New York. Have you and
Tom King, Red, I can't pronounce the last name. Ever been together?
Tadashore? Yeah, we try not to hang out with Nolan because he's an awful person. No, I love those guys. They're my brothers. In fact, we have so much fun together that we actually recorded an album together. For you Call of Duty fans, for Call of Duty Black Ops, we did the zombies portion of that. And I played Tank Dempsey, and we had so much fun doing that together that we put together an album called A Very Zombie Christmas. And it was, Tom couldn't join us, he lives in Kansas, so Nolan, I think, did Takeo's voice in that. And it was awful. If you're looking for good music, look elsewhere. But we had original arrangements of Christmas tunes and one Hanukkah tune for Rick Toffen, because he's a Nazi. But we took all these beloved Christmas songs and we just destroyed them. We drank a lot of scotch. I had 103 fever that night when we were recording. I was really sick, I had the flu, and we were just doing 12 Days of Christmas, my true love came to me. And then Fred Tatasciore, who played Nikolai, everything that he sang in the 12 Days of Christmas, I was singing about shotguns and monkey bombs and stuff like that. Every single day of Christmas for him was about vodka. 3 bottles vodka. Ridiculous. So if you, they had to take it down from iTunes. We put it on iTunes, and we were going to give money to charity. It was just sort of a gift for the fans, and we didn't ask Activision's permission, and they got really mad at us, and they gave us a cease and desist order and pulled it off of iTunes. But you can still find it on YouTube. You can find the pieces of it on YouTube. So if you look up A Very Zombie Christmas, you'll find pieces, and there were actually videos done of some of the songs too. It was terrible. It was just out of tune, and oh my God. Hoorah! You got that flesh on my new boots. Okay, who's next? How about you right here?
You know, out of all the, again, thank you for voicing all these characters over the years and everything, like Spike, Zeb from Star Wars Rebels. You know, you've done a variety of characters that had different, like, either fighting styles, either with guns or, like, futuristic weapons or fantasy-like weapons. What's your personal favorite?
Personal favorite weapons?
Yeah.
Oh, man. How do you choose? There was a game called Bulletstorm. We had some pretty wacky weapons in that one. Yeah, I don't remember exactly what the weapons did, but they were really gross. I mean, the deaths were just disgusting. Those are probably the most fun, I think, of all of them. And then, of course, Tank loves his shotgun. That's his best friend. Also, there's a show called Shadows of the Damned, or a video game called Shadows of the Damned. Yeah. And children, close your ears, but there was a gun that he called the Big Boner, which is pretty fun. I just love the name of it because I'm 8. How about you right here?
Do you prefer to do voice acting for video games or for TV shows or movies? What's your preferred medium?
Wow, they're all kind of fun. Video games can be strenuous just because we have to crank out as many lines as we possibly can in a short period of time. So that's more of a grind. Sometimes the subject matter makes it fun enough where it's worth it, like on Call of Duty and Mass Effect and some of those games. But the most fun I have, I think, is working with a cast, just because they're my friends. Most of them come from the world of comedy or improv or something, so it's the funniest bunch of people you'll ever meet in your life, and the funniest, most clever things actually never make it to final print. It's the stuff that happens between. So I do like working on original animations. We do it in sort of like a radio play, and we're playing off of each other, and we can play off of each other's energy too. And the context of the show and the feel of the show can change by the chemistry in the room. So we do make those bonds in those rooms too. And casts like Star Wars Rebels, we're family. Vanessa is here at the con. If you haven't seen Vanessa Marshall, please come and say hello to her. She's amazing, but I've known her for many, many years. We worked on a lot of shows together. But a show like Star Wars Rebels is one of those shows where we really do bond as a family. She's my sister now for life, whether she likes it or not. And I love that. You know, I didn't have that kind of camaraderie in a lot of the careers I had before this, and I had a lot of careers before doing this. So that probably is my favorite thing.
All right, so ConnectiCon 16, that was a lot of fun. What'd you guys think?
I thought it was awesome. They had a lot of great things for people to do, and I enjoyed it.
It was pretty fun. I found myself some magic cards.
And now he's going to be undefeatable.
And we got some great interviews today. So, yeah. Good show. Good show.
Yeah, it was good. It was a lot of fun. Thanks to all the people in charge of ConnectiCon 16 for press passes and for letting us talk to all your folks. And we had a wonderful time. Okay.
Just one thing, Calvin did an awesome job at Pintastic. He's got an interview there with Mitch Hallock from TerrifiCon and Grant Garvin from the Neon Retro Future Fest at Crowne Plaza. So check those out this month in August.
Yep, that's another convention that we're going to be checking out later.
Yep.
Will be good. All right, anything else? I think that's it. Okay, that's going to be it for Sci-Fi Journal for August 2018 from Pintastic and from ConnectiCon. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you September when school starts. All right, have an awesome summer.
Thank you.